Hello, my name is Nathan Lindorf. This is the Rational Independent. This morning we're going to talk a little bit about discipline and frameworks. So, I was just having a conversation with my wife. One of the things that we're talking about as I'm looking at different careers and different options for my future is expanding my skill set. I have a certain set of skills that I've built a career on, but I'm looking to make a shift as my life has changed. I know I'm not the only one to do that. And one of the things that I've found is it's hard because you kind of feel like you're starting over again. And I've gotten used to a certain level of seniority, a certain level of flexibility, a certain respect, and to be able to command a certain wage in the market. So if you're going to make a shift like that, you have to eat a little humble pie sometimes. But I can see long-term the direction that I want to go. In my instance, I'm looking to pick up Python and SQL and a few other things, some practical skills to be able to be qualified for a few different jobs. And the problem is, I'm not a programmer. And the problem is, I'm not young and in college or high school or with access to different clubs and the like. Society builds a lot of things into young adult life that enables you to try on a bunch of different hats, try on a bunch of different ways of living, to look at different interests and find groups that support that. As an adult, that support is still there, but you kind of have to go chase it down. It's almost like society says, we're going to assume that you're happy in the channel that you're in unless you make an effort to go chase down other channels. So with that in mind, one of the things that helps with that is to build a framework or to put yourself inside a framework. As a classic example, go to night school. Go to colleges and get an additional degree or a degree if you don't have one as an adult. It means that you're going to have to mess up your schedule. It means you're going to miss out on some family stuff or on, put your hobbies on hold for a little while. But by putting yourself into that established framework, you get a lot of support as you're growing. You get a lot of direction and encouragement and accountability and feedback. And all of those things help you to grow enough until you can stand on your own in that area. So, again, none of this is revolutionary, and hopefully, oddly enough, a lot of this content on this channel is not going to be revolutionary or groundbreaking. Humans have been solving human problems for a very long time. So if you think you're the first one to run into a particularly unique situation, I'm sorry, you're not. If you think you're the first person to think of a unique solution, you're probably not the first person. Most of the time, if you look hard enough, you can find someone else or even whole groups of people who have tread the ground that you're treading now, and maybe even can give you some guidance or pointers in that. And that ties back a little bit to what we were talking about the other day about that kind of institutional memory that's so valuable, if it's correct. Anyway, so I'm not looking to break revolutionary ground. What I am looking to do is look at life, look at the problems we all face, remain free enough to think critically and independently, solve my problem and move ahead, or help other people solve their problems and move ahead. So in this instance, a framework is very useful because it helps you grow and establish until you're ready to branch out on your own and maybe even start to teach other people or help other people. Which leads me to my second point, which is discipline. I have 0 views on my videos so far, or as close to 0 as to make no difference. And that's good. You don't immediately have the world at your feet when you start to create something. Most of the time, you don't even know what you're doing, really, when you're creating something. Your first draft of a book or first draft of an essay is probably crap, because the human brain doesn't succeed through first time I'm perfect. Instead, most success comes from I have a clear vision of where I want to be, I have enough support to not catastrophically fail on my first try. And I have the discipline to keep at it, to go and to go and to go, and to get up every morning, to hit the gym every morning, to focus on preparing your diet or doing whatever you're doing, or go to school, do your homework, whatever it is that's part of your plan. You need to have the discipline to do it even when you don't feel like it. Frankly, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Our furnace was out. We slept cold. We're in Colorado. There's been plenty of frustrations and distractions this morning, and when it got to the place where I could take these videos, I didn't want to do it. But I have found, as I found success in other areas of my life, one of the keys to success I've found is to do what you plan to do regardless of if you feel like it. Put another way, you decide ahead of time that how you feel about the task is irrelevant. Now, do you make better content as a creator if you are full of energy and enthusiastic about the topic and ready to engage and had a full night's sleep and you're supported in a great studio and you've got great equipment and you've got people around you and you've got a script prepared and you're ready to go? Yeah, that might be amazing content. But if you want to be an excellent creator, if you want to be successful at almost anything in life, you get to that place by starting in a place where you feel like crap, or you're distracted, or you're bored, or you're frustrated that you're not making much traction. You need to have the discipline to pursue that long-term vision, to do it even if you don't feel like it, to do it regardless of how you feel, because that consistency breeds experience. It means that you start to learn how to be reasonably successful in almost every circumstance. It means that you start to have a body of experience where you say, okay, I've done this 100 times, and when I've done this and I feel this way, or the weather's like this, or I have this particular circumstance, it usually goes badly. And so you can start to recognize pitfalls and traps ahead of time. You can start to prepare and plan for those things, and you end up producing a more quality product and a consistent product, and the market goes, hey, quality and consistency, I'll take it. Then you start to succeed. Then you start to thrive. Put another way, there's an old saying, someone who's very wealthy who goes bankrupt, and someone asks them, how on earth did you go bankrupt? And they said, well, gradually and then suddenly. And on the flip side, Dave Ramsey is famous for saying, we're an overnight success. It just took us 20 years. In other words, if you keep showing up and keep showing up, and you have the discipline to live within a framework, or even accept a little humility, or even fail a little bit and grind and struggle, you are going to work in that space and probably see very little reward, very little recognition, even feel very little in the way of accomplishment for an extended period of time. That's the gradual phase. And then, if you stick with it long enough, usually you will turn a corner and suddenly it feels like success pours on you far outside the measure of the effort that you're putting forward. In fact, things usually, if you have that consistent discipline, get to the point where they're easy and enjoyable, something that used to be difficult. This applies across a broad range of human endeavors. But the crux of what I'm trying to say is, if you're willing to have the discipline to pursue a long-term vision, to focus on it, to fail at it, to try again, to learn, to increase your quality, to increase your effort, and to keep showing up, eventually your incremental, infinitesimal, it's a tough word, very tiny measure of growth will turn a corner. It'll hockey stick. And suddenly you get exponential growth from that point. So, those are my thoughts for this morning. I appreciate your time, and I am going to keep showing up. We'll see where that goes from here. Have a lovely day.